We are back on Air with Rare. But before we get into this episode, y'all already know I can't stress it enough. If you aren't following us on YouTube and Instagram, make sure you follow us at Rare Footage Sports. And to keep up with the number one source for sports, follow us on X at Rare Footage News. Tonight, we got a special guest. I can't say special enough. The best scout in all of America, KP Kenneth Pannell. What's going on, KP?
We in the building.
What's going on, good brother? I appreciate you for
Man.
being on air with me tonight, man.
Nah, I appreciate you inviting me, man. It's a lot of guys that, I see work hard, and there's a lot of guys I don't see work hard. You are one of those guys that, I see and I enjoy your work. And I know you grinding, man. So, it's a pleasure to be on here. Thanks for inviting me. Let's get busy.
KP, talk to me. You spent closer to 15 years contributing to the game and culture of women's basketball. What made you fall in love with the women's game and make you want to help push the sport forward?
So it's funny. I went to Old Dominion University back when Old Dominion University was really good in girls basketball. So I knew what good girls basketball looked like. So, what people don't know is I was working on Wall Street before I started in the realm, and I had a friend of mine, a mentor, Anton Marchand, who's actually the head scout for the Cleveland Cavaliers now. Just say, hey, come by and see what we're doing, and I basically said, girls basketball, yeah, I'm not doing that. But I went by there and I saw the vision. I actually saw the vision, and he said to me, well, if nothing else, just be my DJ. So I started in this business as the DJ in a local tournament, and I just saw it. I saw it was not enough people supporting it. I saw it was not enough, people pushing for the girls. I just saw everybody doing everything for the boys. So I wanted to be like a beacon of light for especially the local kids. And then it turned into me, going to other tournaments and seeing what's going out there, and it's, introducing myself to, the college coaches and things. And that's something that's missing nowadays. Like so many people don't want to talk to these coaches. They want to know you just as much as you want to know them. So for me, I always want to do something different. And as you know, everybody's doing boys basketball, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to be a beacon of light for women's basketball. So I truly love it. I truly, love how it's growing. And, selfishly, I've been in it a long time. So I'm not one of these new guys that's just, popping up.
Now, speaking of the girls' game evolving, how have you seen the level of skill and competitiveness in the women's game evolve over the past few years?
Oh, man, it's grown in numbers. And the one thing I've seen most is athleticism. Like, these girls are growing in athleticism. Girls are more skilled, in my opinion, in basketball. And that's because they pay attention to the little things. Boys, they play off athleticism. Now the girls are starting to catch up with the athleticism part of that too. That for me is just exciting. You're seeing girls dunk now and seeing girls chase down blocks and things like that. But again, they've always been super, super skilled. And now, they're developing the step backs and the Iverson crossovers. And I even watch some people's offense, how they're, doing Iverson cuts and flare screens and things like that. So it has evolved so much. These girls are playing so much harder. And, I kind of want to take a little bit of credit for that because, if you see some of the stuff that I do on social media, I talk a lot with passion. Some people may take it a different way, but it's passion because I love it. And I think, once I bring energy into the room, the girls, they get to it, man. And that for me is what I think I bring to the game.
I agree, man. Like you said, girls do have more skill and they play the right way fundamentally. Whereas though, like you said, most of the time, or a lot of the times, boys play off just pure athleticism, and you watch a high level girls game and it's like poetry in motion almost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The girls are just, they're doing things precisely instead of, just going on the fly. But now you're seeing some girls who can boogie too. So that's super exciting. Girls, crossing over and going between the legs, laying it up. So they're bringing an excitement to the game also.
Let me ask you this, KP. What factors do you think have contributed most to the increased visibility and popularity of the women's basketball game, not only locally but globally?
Just this new generation is different, man. They are more skilled. They are demanding that you pay attention.
Mm,
The Caitlin Clarks, the Angel Reeses of the world, the Jujus, the Hannah Hidalgos of the world. They're demanding that you watch them, and it's must-see TV nowadays. So for that, it gives more visibility to the game, and it's for me. Those younger kids are starting to see that and saying, "Hey, I want to be like that too." And that's something that I always stress to these kids that, hey, go watch more basketball because there is a tremendous difference in pay in men's and women's. But if we're not supporting them ourselves, then how do we expect to get to that level? And that's one of the things I preach when I go around and speak. Hey, man, if you want to get to the next level where the men are, you have to support them, just like you support them, support the men. So it's high visibility in college now. Hannah plays, everybody wants to see it. Juju plays, everybody wants to see it. Same with Angel, same with Caitlin Clark. This new generation is just, and social media has helped that a lot too. Let's just be honest. Social media has increased visibility, and a lot of these kids now they like to watch highlight clips and things like that. But I still push that. Hey, watch the game, learn the game, see how these girls' IQ are, see how these girls get better every time you watch them get on the court.
Now, a lot of girls nowadays want to be the next Caitlin Clark or the next Asia Wilson, but how has the development of youth and collegiate programs impacted the talent pool for the professional level of the women's game?
Here's what I say: be the next you, be the next me. I'm the next KP. Pave your own way. Now, obviously, I've had mentors. I've had great mentors in this game, and I've been a part of great organizations. But do something different. And I say this all the time. Do you make up your bed in the morning? Well, if you don't, start making up your bed in the morning. Do something different. So pave your own way when you're doing this stuff. It's great to emulate these great players, but everyone's a brand now, and that's very, very important. With social media and how much these schools are paying kids to play basketball, you are a brand. So build on your brand. Make sure you're building on your brand, and that comes with work ethic. One thing I said about you, your work ethic is different. Every time I'm in the gym, I see you, and I can't say that about a lot of people, man. But that's the respect I have for you. Like, we really didn't know each other. We always saw each other in passing, what's up. But I was like, man, this dude is in the gym every time I'm in the gym. So I got to respect his work, not really knowing what you do. You probably didn't really know what I did, but knowing that your work ethic was so strong, man, that's different, bro. And that's what I would recommend for these kids. Work ethic is super, super important. I eat, sleep, drink basketball. I'm a pro at basketball. You're a pro at basketball. This is what we do for a living. So, the ball's going to stop bouncing one day. What's your next steps? But while the ball is bouncing, have that ball take you where you need to be.
Like you said, I mean, before I even said two words to you, I seen you in the gym multiple times, and I'm like, I knew you was somebody just by the way you walked and how everybody, I seen all the college coaches and AAU coaches talk to you a certain way, give you that certain look. And one day, a guy from Philly, I won't say his name, but it's the coach. And I was like, yo, who is that? Like, is he somebody? He was like, you don't know who that is? That's the guy you need to know. And then, eventually, time us being in the gym together, we got to bridge that gap and meet. So I'm definitely fortunate that before I said anything to you, somebody was like, that's not a guy you need to know. That's the guy you need to know. That was crazy. Now, let me ask you this. What role do you think social media and other digital platforms play in promoting the women's game basketball to a broad audience?
It plays one of the biggest roles now, just because social media is dominating everything that we're doing in life. I mean, everything we do is on our phone right now. From buying clothes to buying groceries to scheduling a haircut to everything. So, it goes back to what I said about being a brand. So you have to brand yourself, and social media is the perfect place to do it. Now, here's the thing that I also say to these kids. You need to put your name on your social media. I don't want to see little Nuck Nuck. or the greatest shooter or something. Because somebody like me who scouts, I could be walking by a court, I could see a kid, I'd be like, okay, this kid, I'll look her up and like, okay, I know her name. Then I'll try to go find their social media, and it's sometimes it's just hard to find. It's like because they have a name that's not traditional on their social media. So you are a brand now, man. This social media stuff is the way people really get paid. I mean, I've seen kids get upwards of $400,000 or $500,000 just to go play college basketball, and that's girls basketball. So you can imagine what's happening on the men's side when it comes to and they look at how many followers you have. They look at what you're doing on there, because nothing goes away. So be very careful what you're doing, but brand yourself. Be what you want to be in life on social media. Show it on social media. And again, like if you watch mine, I'm passionate about what I do. So I hope people take that as passion instead of just something crazy.
Speaking of branding a little bit, how has the increase in sponsorships and endorsement deals impacted the development of the women's basketball league and players?
So I'm a step away from that. So I throw the biggest event at the Women's Final Four every year. I've done it for the last 12 years. Last year, I kind of did it on my own without any, corporate backing. And I had sponsors come out the wazoo just to say, hey, no, we want to be part of this. We see what you've done for the last 10 to 12 years. And so now this year, turning around, I've already reached out to people, and people are starting to reach out to me about, sponsoring. They want to be involved in the women's game. It's growing. It's growing at a rapid pace. And they want people who are solid in the game. I've been around for, 20 years in the game. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But, being here now is such a blessing. I'm so glad I took a chance on it. So, these corporate sponsors, they want to be involved. They want you to, market their product. They want to be in the room when you're in the room. They want you to come and speak. I've had so many opportunities just to go to different places and speak about what I do and why I do it. And, it's been profitable for me. And it's been good for, the game itself. So having me promote the game all over the world, man, you can't beat what women's basketball has become and is continuing to become.
What trends do you foresee shaping in the future landscape of women's basketball in the next 5 or even 10 years?
Funny you asked me that. I think AI is going to get involved in it. And I mean, AI is in artificial intelligence. I think, that's going to play a bigger part in not only women's basketball, just basketball in general. I think, there are companies out there that are, starting to do things to help the game grow also, whether it's scouting, whether it's, shooting percentages, whether it's mental health. It's so many things. I think AI is the next trend. Myself, I'm trying to get on that train now. I've been talking to some people about the space, but I just think AI is going to take over space really, really soon. It's taken over everything else. I mean, who doesn't use Chat GPT? I didn't know how to use it, and then somebody said you need to try it, and now I can't put it down.
Yeah, I agree. AI is definitely making an impact quick and fast and impactful. You started with select events in 2021 as the director of middle school. How has that been for you?
It's been great. And let me tell you why. Because now I know all these kids young. I know them when they're in the 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So now by the time they get to the high school age and they're starting to be recruited, I already know them and their families. And I'm a trusted source because I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have a team. I don't have a daughter that plays. I'm a trusted source. So these parents will call me and ask me, what do you think about this? What do you think about this camp? Or what do you think about this coach? And I'll tell them the truth. And anything I tell them, I say, you can go tell them I said it. So I think it's been very, very good just to, continue on this path. Middle school is where it's at for me. I seen Hannah Hidalgo. I seen Juju as, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. So for me, I feel like I'm the first one to find a lot of these kids. So it makes me very, very valuable.
Agreed. Now, KP, you are the only scout in all of America that are on all the major panels for the women's basketball, including ESPN and the McDonald's All-American Committee. What does that say about the work that you put in?
The work ethic, man. If you'd told me 10 years ago I'd be on some of these committees, I'd laugh at you. I
Mm,
always tell the story that, when I was young, I used to collect in the Ebony magazine. They used to have the McDonald's team every year. I used to collect that,
mm,
just wishing and hoping. But obviously, I wasn't good enough to be, part of that. But now I'm a McDonald's All-American every year. And
mm.
the funny thing is, I get just as much gear as the kids. So, for me, it's a blessing. It shows that, I worked for it. Nothing was given to me, but it tells you, I put in the time, and I love this though. I do basketball for a living, man. Who can be mad at that you do basketball for a living? So for me, being part of such great organizations is a feather in my cap. But guess what? If all of that go away tomorrow, I'm okay because I still have relationships. And to
Mm,
me, the relationships are the biggest part of all of this. My relationship with you, my relationship with, a FIBA, my relationship with some of these college coaches. That's the most important thing to me, man, is the relationship.
mm. Now, KP, I normally like to ask the coaches this, but I'm sure the many people that's going to watch this will love to hear your take on this because you're such an important person in scouting the culture. What does it take to become a successful hooper, whether it's middle school, high school, or even college?
Back to what I said, the work ethic. You got to develop a work ethic, early. And I'm obsessed with basketball. I can watch two turtles play basketball. That I'm cool with that. So at some point to be successful, and if you look at the LeBron James, the KDs of the world, they're obsessed with it. They want
Mm,
everything to do with basketball. And that doesn't necessarily mean playing. So there's other avenues that, you know, people should explore. What you do is important. What I do is important. What a FIBA does is important. There's so many things that you can do in this sport to stay in this sport. And eventually you're not going to be able to play anymore anyway, because you're going to get older and things ain't going to work the way they used to. So if you love it, find a way to stay in it.
mm,
And that's work ethic, man. Just continue to work and continue to ask questions. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself. Hey, my name is, and this is what I do. Can you give me some feedback? Can you tell me how well I do this? How bad I do this? It's okay. We live in a culture that, social media has taken over, and people would rather text you and then call you. And I get it. But at some point, and a lot of kids think it's corny that you have to have a face-to-face conversation with people so they can know who you are and why you are.
mm. December 14th at the St. James KP She Got Game Rare Footage second annual Winter Middle School Combine. You're going to be there. Why should all the kids be there?
Because we're going to be there and we're going to give them the truth. and,
Mm,
and and as you know, I enjoy talking to the kids, but I probably enjoy talking to the parents more,
mm,
because sometimes people like us, they think we're unapproachable. We're human. I have a 14-year-old kid that's playing basketball too. I like them to know that I'm just a regular guy, man. Listen, they go to work, they work hard, they expect a promotion. I do the same thing. I work hard, I expect a promotion. I expect people to respect what I do, and I'm doing other things within the basketball realm that I think is going to explode soon. So for me, you should come out, number one, just to make a new friend.
mm.
Learn from some of these great people that FIBA and you have at the camp, and pay attention to some of the things that we're saying, because we're not giving you a line. We're giving you some truths, and we're letting you know what I expect when I see you on the court and what I'll expect when I see you when I come watch you in AAU. And when I tell the kids, send me your schedule, they'll tell you I show up at games,
Mm.
but be ready for the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But I want to support the kids, whether that's high D1, D2, D3, JUCO, NAIA, the pros. I want to be there to support them.
Well, KP, I truly appreciate you taking time out your night to be on Air with Rare. I'm truly grateful to have you on my platform, and I'll definitely be seeing you soon, whether it's here, DC, Virginia, somewhere. I'm sure I'll
No
catch you
doubt.
on one of these gyms sooner or later.
No doubt. Just give a shout out. We coming winter series. We
Winter
about a
series
month
is on the
out.
way.
We about a
If
month
you
out.
ain't
So
there,
make
you
sure
know.
everybody get locked in.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
All
you,
right, I
KP.
appreciate you, brother. I'll talk to you.
Talk to you.